Trustees, Wednesday, 14th, 2021. Joan, would you call the roll, please?
Bradford. Present. Garcia. Present. Mahalit. 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 He's there. We can see. Morales.
Present.
All right, Jake, we got you. Morales. Here. O'Connell.
Here.
Washington.
Here.
Wilkinson.
Present.
And Wonderland.
I'd like to welcome everybody who came to the meeting either in person or virtually tonight. At this time, I don't know the words.
You know it by heart for 44 years. You know it.
Oh, thank you. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, do we have any public comments, Ms. Tierney?
No request to speak before the board, Mr. Chairman.
You? Moving on, business reports 1.1.1, Village of Plainfield TIF extension.
I'd like to invite Jake Melrose of the Village of Plainfield to the podium. Jeff, I don't see him. Do you know if it was? Okay, does anyone want to speak on his behalf, or are we tabling?
You want to come back to it?
We can.
Do the other business reports and see if he gets here?
Okay, okay.
Okay, next is a little farther away, Village of Gardner TIF extension.
So I'd like to invite Mike Serena, Mayor of Gardner, to the podium.
Chairman, members, and guests, thank you for taking the time. Basically, Village Gardner is no different than any of the other ones with a TIF. Our TIF was set to expire after the 23 years and the 12-year extension at the end of this year. Now we find out that we are able to apply for another 12-year extension. Basically, the start of this is to go to all the taxing bodies, whether they benefit from this or not, and ask for a letter of support. That's the very first step. Then from there, it goes through the legal system with our politicians, and they try to run it through the system. So we're very fortunate in the Village of Gardner because we've saved a lot of money. The TIF money has to go through our TIF attorney in order for us to spend it. So we use it on capital improvements. We've done sewer, water, roads. We've actually purchased some property to try to develop in the downtown area. Our latest thing is our water tower. It's $1.2 million. We're able to spend that money on the water tower without raising any water rates or sewer rates for any of our village. So right now, the grade school has done large improvements. They've recently done drainage and a resurfaced parking lot. The high school is constantly doing things because it is an older school, asbestos removal and life safety upgrades, stuff like that. The fire district, that is also another one of the taxing bodies that gains from this, they're constantly buying equipment, whether it be bunker gear, their fire gear, or ambulance, fire trucks, whatever. So everybody that benefits from this has really been using it to its best. So I'm just here asking for a support letter so we can take this first step to get another 12-year extension on our TIF.
We have a motion?
I have a question first, if that's
We
okay.
need a motion and a second, then discussion.
I make the motion.
Second.
Discussion.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I'm sorry, your name again?
Mike Serena.
Mayor Serena, thank you so much. How long have you been mayor?
I'm on my second term, about 7 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you, I guess.
And yeah, exactly. It sounds like this TIF has really benefited your community in that you're able to save the residents money by not having to increase costs, correct? what other ways that maybe you didn't get a chance to tell us, what other ways have the residents benefited from this?
The TIF itself, because our community covers, the TIF covers 75% of our community. When we do community-wide projects, we can pay for 75% out of that TIF after it's okayed by our TIF attorney. So it's our money and it's in our bank, but we have to get permission from them first before we can spend it. So a lot of the things that we do, now we have motor fuel funds that pay for the other percentage of the roads. And like I said, we've done road improvements. That's basically it. Our storm sewers in town are probably the biggest problem that we have. We've spent, I think our last project was close to $500,000, give or take. And we're trying to do the basic trunks of the storm sewer. The way you do it is you do the big pieces first, and then you fill in with the little pieces. So we run the main trunk, which starts out at a 2-foot pipe and ends up at a 4-foot pipe at the end. And then you put taps for the future. So as you can afford later on, you'll run another 2-foot line here or 1-foot line there. And it just helps to alleviate that. We do have a little bit of our community that is in a floodplain, and we're trying with our engineering firm to, as we do more improvements to storm sewer, to get these people out of the floodplain so they don't have to pay for the insurance. Floodplain insurance is terrible high.
Tell me about it.
So
Yeah. I'm an Allstate agent, so I get that. Trust me, I hear calls every day.
yeah,
Okay, well, thank you. I don't know if you were finished or not.
yeah, that was it.
Any other questions?
No, I have no further questions. I want to wish you luck on this, and I
Thank you.
definitely will support it.
Well, and like I was saying, I don't mean to interrupt, but this is my first time doing this because 12 years ago, we had a different mayor. So he did all this stuff. So for me, it's jumping through the same hoops, but a different guy jumping.
Right. Thank you.
You're doing a fine job.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, as a point of order, just as a report, it doesn't need it.
We don't need one.
You don't.
No, I'm just seeking board support so then I can sign the letter,
So does anybody object? Matt, you've got the board support, Mayor.
Thank you.
All righty. Next item, Leggett Architects.
So with us virtually today, we have Audrey Blankenship, Jay Johnson, and Michael Lundeen to provide you with a brief update on the campus police remodel design. So I will, I believe Jay will kick it off.
Yeah, thank you so much. My name is Jay Johnson with Leggett Architects, and we're the campus architect or the campus police architect for the renovations in Building G. Next slide, whoever's controlling it. So as you know, the current police department's in Building G along with the fitness department. And there's some old locker rooms that were left over from football and some other things that were transposed into the event center building that was recently built. And included with this project also is HVAC project up on the 2nd floor gymnasium, which also includes air conditioning, which will be a nice feature to have in the gymnasium upstairs. Next, please. So the way the police department is laid out and is collaboratively designed with both the fitness department and police, and there's a small athletic department portion of it as well, which is wrestling. We have offices on the west or the left-hand side of the plan. The darker blue elements in the center are meeting rooms, which are comprised of a training center, roll-on conference room, a squad room, and a break area. And then down the lower portion, we have evidence processing, booking, and storage. And then the green area on plan left or on the east side is the support offices for fitness locker rooms, and then a laundry facility for laundering their items for fitness. And then the yellow components, we'll talk a little bit more here shortly. Next slide, please. And then you have to click as we go along. So there's no natural light in building G right now, except for the north wall of the fitness center. So what we're doing, if you can just click through, we're bringing sunlight through the space, through the fitness area, through a brand new core that we're developing on the north side, and really celebrating that light at the dispatch and the records area, which is where the public interface is with the police department. And the rendering on the right-hand side kind of shows you what that feeling might be like at both the teller windows for both the records and the dispatch. The glass along the left-hand side of the rendering will have a translucent film on it, so only to let light flow in and not necessarily have the fitness center patrons be on display. Next, please. So within the heart of the design, we have the training center, which also doubles as an emergency operations center. And two of its walls on the west and the east side are glass in nature, and that really kind of celebrates the circulation around that space and makes it less cavernous and open in nature. And then one more click, there's a rendering on the left-hand side, kind of gives you a flavor of what that space will be like, glass on both sides. And then the fitness center, or excuse me, the video display will be on the back wall there. The yellow spaces will be an alternate bid. The first alternate bid is a sally port to safely transport prisoners from the squad SUVs into the prisoner processing area. And then the second alternate bid, if you click one more time, is actually a fleet storage vehicle maintenance, or a fleet storage bay housing 7 of the SUV fleet vehicles that they currently have right now. The project is tracking to be on budget. It's about a $5 million total project budget cost. And we're working with CCS Estimating as a cost consultant for us. And we are working with them at the end of the month to do another design development estimate at that point. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions that anybody may have.
Anybody? Not, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you for the presentation, guys.
We'll move on, and if the person from Plainfield gets here, we'll just backtrack. Next item, 1.2, moment of silence. Diane Smith, mother of Sergeant Jeff Smith in Campus Police. Robert Dow, friend of Joliet Junior College. Consuelo Sanchez, mother-in-law of Patty Sanchez, Human Resources. Thank you very much. Recognition of special guests tonight. I would like to welcome Mr. Jim Budzinski, our future board member here. Jim, congratulations. And other than that, just my fellow board members who are always special.
Right back at you, Bob.
At this time, recognition of outgoing student trustee.
I would like to invite Dr. Amy Cuspa Sims. She is attending with us virtually, and she will recognize our outgoing student trustee and announce the appointment and the oath of our seating our new trustee, who will begin after April 15th. So he will be attending our next meeting. He's on virtually, but he'll be here at the next meeting. So Dr. Sims.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me this evening. So this evening, on behalf of Dr. Farmer, Dean Cindy Vasquez Barrios, and myself, we would like to thank Mr. Ian Wilkinson for his service as our student trustee this past academic year. And I had the opportunity to reflect as I watched the board meetings and watched him proceed through the year. This was an ever-changing and challenging year for many of our students. And I have never seen a student trustee reach out to his peers He found innovative ways to do so. He sought the feedback from his peers, and he brought it back to all of you here at the board. I would like to applaud him for his courage to bring forth the issue of student mental health to the board this year. Not only did he do that, but he also made sure he shared the student resources available to our community to make sure everybody was aware of the amount of services that we have to offer around that topic. So thank you, Ian, for that. And then finally, he took time to highlight the great work of our student leaders and all of the employees across the campus, which really shows you the endless work that so many of us do on our campus to make sure that our campus is focused on student success and support. So with that, Ian, thank you once again for your service this year. And I would like to give a little bit of space for a round of applause.
Thank you, Ian. Good job.
At this time, Ian, do you want to come up to the podium and see Trustee Broderick?
Our board, we appreciate you being our student trustee. We have a plaque to bestow upon you for all of your services done this year. Thank you.
And I would also like to have the honor this evening of welcoming our new student trustee, David Lozado. David has been attending JJC for the past 2 years, and he is pursuing his Associates of Arts degree. David has been an active member of our JJC community, serving as Latinos Unidos Vice President, Latinos Unidos President. He has been actively involved with other clubs and supports them all and all of the students and all of their events. He also has participated in JJC Emerging Leaders Program. He truly enjoys spending time with his friends, especially around campus when we're in person and attending our comfort zone events. During the student trustee selection process, David was endorsed by his peers from the Student Government Association and the Collegiate Club Council. He is passionate about finding ways to better support students, his peers personally and professionally, as JJC steadily develops a return to campus plan. He is interested in supporting mental health, academic programs that lead to employability, and supporting diversity, equity, and inclusion on our campus. David, welcome, and I look forward to serving as one of your mentors this year.
Thank you so much.
At this time, David, I'd like you to, well, I would like you to come up to the podium, but that's not going to be too easy. But if you would, the oath of office, if you would repeat after me. I, David Lozano,
I, David Lozano,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and I would faithfully discharge the duties of the office of member of the Board of Trustees of Joliet Junior College.
and I will faithfully discharge the, can you repeat that, please?
Faithfully discharge the duties of the office of member of Board of Trustees.
Discharge the office of members of student trustee.
That's close enough. Of Joliet Junior College,
Of Joliet Junior College,
Illinois Community College District 525,
Illinois District College of 525,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Thank you very much. Congratulations again.
Congratulations.
Thank you, everyone.
Right. So moving on. Item 1.4.1, Asian Heritage Month Proclamation.
Okay, I'd like to introduce Alexander or Allie Wittenhall. Allie is a peer mentor, a co-leader of the Social Justice Club, president of the Collegiate Club Council, a member of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, and a captain of the cheer dance team. Allie will be graduating with her associate's degree from JJC at the end of the semester. She plans to transfer to Lewis University in the fall to major in nursing. Welcome, Allie.
Hi, thank you. All right. Asian Heritage Month 2021. Whereas citizens of the Asian ancestry comprise a percentage of the residents of Illinois Community College District Number 525. And whereas the contributions of the citizen of the Asian ancestry to the history and culture of the United States are invaluable and abundant. And whereas it is the goal of Joliet Junior College to provide its students with a comprehensive curricular and co-curricular educational experience with consideration given to the contributions of all socially identifiable groups within American history and culture. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of Illinois Community College, District Number 525, Joliet Junior College, counties of Will, Grundy, Kendall, LaSalle, Kankakee, Livingston, and Cook, State of Illinois hereby proclaims the month of May as Asian Heritage Month in Illinois Community College, District Number 525. Adopted this 14th day of April 2021.
So moved.
We have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion, second. Joan, call roll, please.
Broderick,
Aye.
Garcia Guillen.
Yes.
Mahalik,
Yes.
Morales.
Yes.
O'Connell,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Wilkinson,
Aye.
and Wonderlich.
Yes. Okay, next item 1.4.2, recognition of retiree Michael Stern, who has been a loyal and dedicated employee of Joliet Junior College from November 2006 to April 2021, 15 years of service as a campus police officer in a campus police department. And we have a retiree, Patricia Osborne, who, whereas Patricia Osborne has been a loyal and dedicated employee of Joliet Junior College from July 2008 through April 2021 for 13 years of service, starting in the Financial Services Department, where she has held position of accountant, special programs, and foundation, and later transferring to the Institutional Advancement Department, where she is retiring from as the manager of finance and scholarships. And our third retiree is Pam Motika, whereas Pam, I think it's, am I saying that right? Motika. Whereas Pam Motika has been a loyal and dedicated employee of Joliet Junior College from February 2001 through April 2021 for 20 years of service as an information clerk and enrollment specialist, primarily at the Romeoville campus. Can I entertain a motion to move?
For all of those?
We've got for all of them? Thank you very much. Motion and a second. Joan, call the roll, please.
Broderick,
Aye.
Garcia Guillen.
Yes.
Mahalik,
Yes.
Morales,
Yes.
O'Connell,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Wilkinson,
Aye.
and Wonderlich.
Yes. Is the gentleman from Plainfield here? We're going to back up a little bit and listen to your report on your tip, if you want to come to the podium.
Thank you, and sorry, I had a family emergency thing come up, so I do apologize for
All right.
for being late. But tonight before you is a request for a downtown TIF extension for Plainfield, and seeking a letter of support from Joliet Junior College. Plainfield has had the TIF district in place for 23 years, so it will be expiring as of December of this year. as you know, Tiff, that you've seen some great growth in downtown over the years. Previously, it was blighted as in the late 80s and 90s, and the Plainfield saw fit to institute this TIF district and also remove Route 30 from downtown. If you recall, there was actually a highway that used to run through downtown as well to create a pedestrian-friendly environment. So they did that and went about creating a new streetscape plan. Started in 2003, and everything was about finalized in about 2008, 2009, and then we know what happened to our economy, unfortunately. And obviously, this part of the recession was a direct hit on equalized assessed value, which is the primary goal of a TIF district, is to raise that value. So the Plainfield saw decent growth as far as in 2008, 2009, but then it created a stagnant growth all the way to 2013 or 14. So about 8 years, you saw barely much growth at all. And it actually, to the point of the original redevelopment study indicated the equalized assessed value should have been somewhere around at the end of our life right now, about 16 to 17 million of equalized assessed value for the TIF district, but we're only about at 9. So we didn't get to see that full potential and that full growth, and because of that long-term recession that was really a primary hit on the property taxes and the EAV. So the village is seeking this extension to continue to improve the infrastructure of the downtown. We still are seeking, obviously, the more growth we have, the more infrastructure needs that we have as far as parking is concerned. And one other primary goal is to continue to keep the burden of maintenance and costs on the village and on the TIF. One way a lot of downtowns with elaborate streetscapes implement certain business improvement districts or special service areas. And what those do is create a tax line of sorts for property owners within the downtown. And what happens then is that those property owners will then pass those costs on to their tenants as common area maintenance or CAM. So we want to avoid that. And it's one of the other reasons why we want to continue this TIF to allow us the ability to continue the maintenance, the landscaping, the streetscape, the snow plowing, the sidewalk plowing, the sidewalk cleaning, and try to keep some of that burden off of our small businesses, because that's our downtown. We're family owned and we're small businesses, so we're trying to keep that burden on ourselves. We have seen support from local taxing bodies that include District 202, the Library District, the Fire District, the Township, and the Park District. So we're very thankful for our relationships with our taxing bodies, and I know that we've partnered together on various things. I've been here for our US Route 30 TIF, where we completed an IGA, and thankful to that. 1 year later, we were able to see the Boulevard Place and Costco come in. So that was a huge benefit to us, and it allowed us to be able to move a very large project forward for the region, and as well as other various things that we've all worked together throughout the years. So we certainly appreciate your support, and if there's any questions about the TIF, I'd be glad to answer them.
Any questions for the,
We're gonna motion first?
we don't need a motion now, I was told.
Oh, okay.
So any questions?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Maureen.
I just want to say my son moved to Plainfield, and I got to see the whole downtown district. And during the pandemic and everything, you guys have really done a terrific job improving and making that downtown area look fantastic. And I saw the hit to the position of the pandemic where restaurants were there, but there was not the crowd that you usually see on the streets outside, because you could get through without a problem driving. But it's gorgeous, and I think you've done a great job. And yes, your economy probably has hurt, and I can agree with extending the TIF on it, because I think you need it. But you've done a great job.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, can you please state your name once again?
I'm sorry, my name is Jake Melrose. I'm the Economic Development Manager for the Village of Plainfield.
You said it really fast. Jake?
Jake Melrose.
Melrose.
Sorry.
So you're not the mayor?
No.
You're the person that handles the economic development?
Correct.
Okay. what are your plans for the future with like diversity, equity, and inclusion? Because just like Trustee Broderick mentioned, you've done a great job. I have family that live in Plainfield, and I've spent some time, but it just seems like there's still something missing. Like I have a hard time feeling accepted when I come to the downtown area in Plainfield, and it's just opportunity areas for improvement. What do you guys have any plans for future diversity, equity, and improvement projects? Is that on your agenda? Is that on your radar? What are you guys doing with that?
First, I'm sorry that you feel that way when you're downtown. I would hope that everybody feels included and as part of our downtown. As far as any future planning as it relates to any diversity, we don't have any programming, locally that is planned. It's kind of few and far between as far as the municipality when they jump into that arena. We certainly would look to help anybody find the correct grants or opportunities that would help them to move that next step forward to open a business in town, whether it be at a federal or state level. So we and I have been approached with those potential opportunities and trying to find certain grants and loan programs that are available. But as far as locally, I couldn't speak any further on that. I just noticed from my kind of world and how as far as business startup and assistance is that's kind of where I've seen seen kind of what you were talking about.
Right. Well, those have to be intentional. It has to be something that you think about, and you look at the demographics of Plainfield, how much it's changing. It's beautiful. It's really, I remember back in the early 2000s, they had a organization called PANDA. It was Plainfield Area Diversity Awareness. And it was like in 2007, I was working at St. Francis, and they asked me to be part of that organization with District 202, I think is the Plainfield School District, because there was so much diversity coming into Plainfield. They didn't know what to do with all this diversity. And this was back in, the early 2000s. So now, it's 2021. We have to be intentional about diversity, equity, and inclusion if you're going to continue to grow as a business, and if you're going to, see more business people come in and more. There's a ton of minority people buying homes in Plainfield. So that's something that I would urge you to put it as a priority and intentionally keep it on the forefront of every single thing that you do with every department. It has to be something you're talking about, because if you don't talk about it, it's out of sight, out of mind. So that's all. But thank you so much. And yeah, Plainfield is growing, but we need to really see a lot of opportunities being given to, everybody to grow in the downtown Plainfield area.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And Jake, I just want to say, great presentation. I can't believe it's in 23 years. I'm really beginning to date myself. I graduated in 99 from Plainfield. The downtown area looks fantastic. We go there and I see that it's thriving, a lot of businesses there. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
So I'm receiving support from the board.
Anybody object to this?
Nope.
Nope. So we've got support, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
And you tell Mayor Mike that he's retired, and so am I, because we used to play softball together.
Oh, really?
Way back when he was with state policeman.
I'll let him know. And again, I apologize for being late. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much for your presentation. Next item, 1.4.5, Dr. Marsink.
Thank you, Chairman Wunderlich. I had my camera off. Can you hear me? Everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I had my camera off. Just haven't been able to do anything with my hair today, so I figured I'd wait. Okay. I have a couple of quick things. First of all, I want to thank Ian. He has been another in a long line of great student trustees that we've had. I know he has really done a lot, and it was already mentioned by Amy, to reach out to students and to keep them informed. And he's done a wonderful job of that. And I want to thank him and congratulate him for that, and also congratulate him for being the kind of strong, independent thinker that we try to nurture at the college. And I also have heard good things about him from some of his instructors, including Dr. Hogan, who I'm sure he's very well aware of. I also want to welcome David Lozado to the board. David has been a strong leader at the college for students for a couple of years now. Another strong, independent thinker, and I know he's going to do a wonderful job because I've seen the passion that he has for the institution and for his work and for his fellow students. And so, welcome, David. Okay. Although I'm only welcoming you as a faculty representative, I still want to welcome you. The other thing I'd like to do tonight quickly is congratulate those who did well, who won in the election last week. First of all, well, of course, I know the officials are still, the results are still unofficial for a short period of time, but we know who they are. Jim Budzinski and Michelle Lee, who are newly elected, and congratulate you and welcome you to the board. We as faculty always try to develop good relationships with the board members and work with you everywhere we can, because that's the way we all move together forward. And I also want to congratulate Trustee Broderick for her reelection for another 4 years. So thank you all for being willing to take on this task. And I will say something about Chairman Wunderlich, hopefully at the next meeting when things are when we make the switch over. The last thing I have to say, I will have to leave early this evening. Not that you will actually notice, but I don't want you to see me bug out of the meeting and say, oh well, he just bugged out. I have another meeting. Unfortunately, this and the AFT meeting are scheduled on the same night. So, but I do want to say that we're all, as faculty, working and staff, et cetera, administrators working very hard to get to the home stretch of the semester. We have another 4 weeks or so after this week. It's been a difficult year for everybody, particularly the students. Faculty, we've all tried to adapt as much as possible. We're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm starting to feel it a little bit too myself. I've been lucky enough to been able to get vaccinated, and I'm not afraid to walk in and through Jewel Osco anymore. So I think it's a wonderful feeling, and so we're all. During this last year, we've done what we could to try to meet the needs of students, and what's been great is I think the students have recognized that in many ways. They have said, "Hey, thank you," and we've thanked them, because I can't imagine suddenly having to make that kind of switch over as a student, especially coming out of high school, and now suddenly I'm in college, but I'm sitting next to my 12-year-old brother who's taking middle school classes. That has to be awfully difficult. So, and we're all looking forward to the fall. We're trying to figure out as many ways as possible to reach the students on many different platforms where they want us to reach them, because as everybody has talked about, we know that things will change as we go forward. Some of the things that we've learned in the last year, we're going to take forward with us, and students are going to expect us to do that, and we're all working towards that end. So I want to thank Chairman Wunderlich and the board again, as always, for the opportunity to speak to you. And that is all I have for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Bob.
Next item, adjunct faculty, Laurel.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, welcome.
Nice to be back.
Yes.
It's actually been, I think, over a year since I was in the room with all of you. And virtual is nice, but there's something to be said for being in the room. And so thank you. I would like to echo Dr. Marksing's comments about looking forward to increased enrollment and getting back to campus and things at some level of normalcy, whatever that turns out to look like. Adjuncts have been hit really hard with the lower enrollment and reduced number of sections. And so there's even more optimism about looking at enrollment increasing and bringing more students back, and as a result, bringing more faculty back. And so we're all looking forward to that very much. The other thing I want to comment about, I think everybody probably knows that Dr. Mitchell's meeting on Friday got hijacked. And I want to thank you for your comments later in the day about that. And also Dr. Gray sent out something to Academic Affairs along the same lines. I think it's really important to continually publicly say that that kind of thing is not acceptable here, and that this is a welcoming, accepting place for everybody. And we all have to be on the same page with that. So those are my comments for this evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to the board tonight. Thank you.
I have a question.
Thank you, Laurel.
Can you unpack I don't know, maybe I didn't read something, but what happened on Friday's meeting?
It was shared in your Monday report. We had a Zoom bomber that hacked into our Zoom, our open forum to the college community. Had some very offensive language that he used in the chat. We shut down the IT department and information security. Jim and his team are looking into it with Zoom to find out if they can identify who this individual was. The comments shared were extremely hurtful. As the president, I work very hard. I support and our employees, each and every one of them, and I care deeply. And sitting there in front of the Zoom meeting, watching some of the faces and the hurt that individuals felt, because we continue to work and progress at this institution, working so hard for acceptance and inclusion at this institution, and Black lives do matter. And it was very emotional. We met with cabinet. I sent out the video to the campus community, received a great deal of feedback, from employees on the campus, and know that we continue to work forward. The cabinet members were with me when I delivered that message to show our ongoing support for the campus community, for our employees, for our students. And we are doing our best to ensure that safeguards are put in place going forward so this doesn't happen again. But it was very hurtful.
Oh, wow. I have not had a chance to go over that, but thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you for sharing that. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, minutes of the meeting of March 10th. If there are no additions or corrections, could I entertain a motion to approve?
I'll move. Second.
Motion and a second. Joan, call the roll, please.
O'Connell,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Wilkinson,
Aye.
Roderick,
Aye.
Garcia Guillen,
Yes.
Mahalik,
Yes.
Morales,
Yes.
and Wonderlich.
Yes. Next item, 1.6, communications. Any further, Ms. Tierney?
No further communications, Mr. Chairman?
Next item, 1.7, approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Joan, would you call the roll, please?
Roderick,
Aye.
Garcia Guillen,
Yes.
Mahalik,
Yes.
Morales,
Yes.
O'Connell,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Wilkinson,
Aye.
and Wonderlich.
Yes. Next item, 1.8, approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion?
Can I go ahead and pull an item, please?
Yes, you can.
Let's go ahead and pull 4.2.3.
4.2.3. Any other?
2.9.1.
2.9.1. Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on. No. Sorry, 292. Not 291.
All right, Joan, would you call the roll, please?
Roderick,
Aye.
Garcia Guillen,
Yes.
Mahalik,
Yes.
Morales,
Yes.
O'Connell,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Lee, Wilkinson,
Aye.
and Wonderlich.
Yes. Okay, so we're going here.
4.2.3.
And moving on to 2.9.2.
Yes, that was me. Okay,
Need a motion
Motion.
second.
in a second. Okay, discussion.
Yes. So the purpose of this movement of the salary schedule, the columnar advancement, this is the purpose of this is because I understand it's because it's part of the union contract. And is it because it's their annual, is it that time, or did they take additional courses to allow them to be moved to advance in this schedule?
So this would have been in accordance with their agreement. They would have taken additional classes to increase their professional credentials.
So all of the candidates that are named here, all the faculty members, they've taken additional college, accredited college level coursework.
Correct.
And it's been submitted and it's been approved.
Correct.
And so then that warrants them to be able to move along in the salary schedule for advanced salary. Okay. And plus, like, I understand it is part of their contract and they can do it, so they actually went through it. Okay. That's all. And then just in the future, only because we don't always know what an M15 to an M30 might be, if you can include a 2 more columns of the current salary and what it's being bumped up to, so that we know, because the numbers, we have to go back and look and find or ask what is the salary increase. Now, financially, this is all okay with the budget, I assume?
Correct. It's all built into the budget, and it's actually listed in the faculty union contract. So M30 to M45 is an additional 15 credit hours, from master's plus 30 credit hours to master's plus 45. And then if you look in the union contracts, it should all be listed in the count their advancement.
Yeah, I had to dig for my book, but I did find it after all. But just, can we have it added on the, in the booklet next time this happens, that we know what salary, so we're not digging or looking for
Right.
it,
The other
please?
place too, I mean, if you just, just a reminder too, we have the website. So if you
Okay.
go onto the website and look at that, you'll have the link, and it lists all of the union contracts.
I
there
know,
as
but
well.
sometimes navigating through it is not very user-friendly. Thank you.
Not a
I
problem.
appreciate it. Thank you. That was all for me.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there any way that we can, instead of having people's names out here showing what their names are, have identification codes for the employees so that we're not seeing names of who they are?
How would we know who they are then?
I-
This is for us.
We don't need to know who they are. All you need to do
That's
is have an ID number
transparency.
for who it is.
I
We
think-
do
I
not
think
have to get into the HR stuff on them. Is there any way that we can do that as far as identifying them by an ID, an HR ID of somehow?
I'm not certain,
I-
Attorney Buck. I know salaries are,
I think it's public information, unfortunately. since we're-
information.
It's public information, but why do we as the board need to see the names? Because it gives, I think, more of an invasion of knowing who we're dealing with. I would rather not see their names. I mean, I'm used to other boards that don't have it. They have IDs so that we don't see the names. I think it's removes the personal and it's just business as it should be instead of involving the person's name.
We've got a requirement under the Open Meetings Act to publish it, and then it's also published in our public salaries. So I appreciate, your comment regarding that, but legally we're obligated to put it in there.
Okay.
If it was a private institution, yeah, but we are a public college and they're being paid with taxpayer money, so I prefer to see the names. Thank you.
Okay, moving on, next item 1.
We have to approve the motion. We have to vote on it.
Oh, yep, that's right. Sorry about it. We have a motion and a second. Joan, call the roll, please.
Garcia Gian? Yes. Mahalik?
Yes,
Morales?
Yes.
O'Connell?
Yes.
Washington?
Yes.
Wilkinson?
Aye.
Broderick?
Aye.
And Wonderlich?
Yes. Next item, 4.2.3.
Yes. So for this particular one, this one is a bid for natural gas supply. So my question is, I do see that we do have to sign a contract in this month. However, the rates for the awarded contract will not be present until the next meeting. So is there any way that we can push signing the contract after we actually see the rates?
I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Lucy, but, if I put on my business hat, I believe it has to do with the requirements of the contract. Cecil, if you could entertain that question.
Please.
Good evening, trustees.
Good evening.
Yeah, in this case, because it's a commodity and prices fluctuate, the way the arrangement works is that we're narrowing it down to the 2 most competitive, and then based on a reset of pricing, which will take place on Friday, Is that, no, tomorrow, April 15th. Then we will come back to the board with that lowest bidder in terms of the best pricing for the gas supplier. And that's why we're doing it in a two-step process today.
And Trustee Garcia, this is the same practice that we've used,
the time.
and again, with utilities, it's the
So right
commodities.
now, we're approving to move forward to get the final number for
Yes.
next month, basically.
Mhm.
Okay,
That's correct, yes.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Joe, would you call the roll, please?
We need a first and a second, Mr. Chairman.
So moved.
Oh, okay.
Second.
Second.
First and second. Joan, call the roll, please.
Washington,
Yes.
Wilkinson,
Yes.
Broderick,
Aye.
Garcia Guillen,
Yes.
Mahalik,
Yes.
Morales,
Yes.
and Wonderlich.
Yes.
And Dan O'Connell.
Me too.
Dan O'Connell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's easy to miss. So we've got the treasury report, financial report, student development. New business, item 6, new business, old business.
New business, I'd like to bring up the HSI CARES grant money and also the National Search for a College President, the status.
And I also have 2 items that I want to bring up that I sent via email. Do I need to tell you right now or go with Trustee Morales first?
We'll start with Alicia first.
Okay.
So we were awarded late in March, and I haven't seen I'd like to see the specific, how much we were awarded to be a Hispanic serving institution and how much of that was CARES. I know the total is about $693,000. And I understand there's certain things we cannot spend that money on. We cannot spend it on construction. We cannot spend it on marketing. We cannot spend it on enrollment. And there's one other bullet, I don't remember what it was. What are we planning? We have 1 year to use this funding. And so how are we planning? I know last time we gave a lot of it away to students. And maybe we're going to do the same this year to students that have high need. What other projects do we have that you can share with us?
Okay, I'm actually going to turn this over to Dr. Yolanda Farmer. She is the lead on the CARES initiatives with the student funding and the student apportionment. So Dr. Farmer?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Mitchell. Good evening, trustees. So just as a follow-up to Trustee Morales' question, I just want to remind the board of some history regarding the HSI grant. So the college did receive an HSI grant close to $300,000 in July of 2020. And we have until July of 2020 to completely spend the funding. So as a reminder, with the HSI grant, can only be used for specific aspects to support students in light of the coronavirus. So again, dollars could only be given to students who are considered Title IV eligible. Dollars could not be used for any type of marketing or even enrollment initiatives. Dollars could not be directed to students specifically for tuition. And of course, dollars could not be utilized for construction. So as a reminder to the board, our #1 priority is to provide grants and support for our students. But I just want to list and provide you some insight how we've provided ongoing support for our students utilizing the HSI grant. So as I mentioned before, all the students have to be Title IV eligible. So we provided emergency COVID relief checks to our students. We also provided what we call some refunds to students in case if students had a drop of class, we provided some refunds to those students. We also developed our laptop program. We enhanced our academic intervention strategy. I think most of us are familiar with our retention alert initiative. We provided, there's just a laundry list here. We provided some ongoing tutoring support for our students through smart thinking. We also scaled up a lot of our training and support mechanism for our student wellness advocates. We've upgraded our JJC portal to create a more seamless progress for our students. And then, of course, we provided a lot more PPE equipment for our students to ensure safety. So I am extremely excited to report that we've expended about 98% of those funds so far. Again, really supporting our students. So what Trustee Morales is referring to also is that we received some additional funding. That funding was allocated in March in the amount of close to $600,000. We do have a proposal that we are sharing with the cabinet, how we will move forward to expend those funds. And I will be more than happy to report that to the board once I've had the opportunity to share that proposal with the cabinet members.
Okay, one thing that I'm hearing from the community they'd like to see is more, we're dealing with a lot of students with everyone with mental health situations, and the suggestion came up to possibly if the college can offer for students, because our students are traditional and non-traditional, and mental health is something that affects everyone. If we could consider maybe some type of like a program with like self-help for students to help them along the way. I mean, I understand we're putting some of this money forward for PPE, but we're also getting separate money from the CARES grant, which should go for PPE. If this is, HSI funding, I think maybe more cultural programs, putting more business seminars out for the businesses. There's just, if you could let us know what you're planning and be open to receiving feedback from the board as well, I'd appreciate that.
Okay, that's not a problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Farmer.
No,
Yes.
Trustee Morales, just to add on to that, we have the April workshop coming up. And what we can do is, I'll plan to provide an update to the entire board on the CARES funding, both student and institutional funding. So you'll have that idea, understanding as well.
Sure. Or even if we could put some of this money towards doing workshops like helping businesses understand how to put a bid together, how the technology works, because you have to use the system and upload forms. I think the community needs a lot more, and we as a community college, we're the only ones that can offer this. The universities, that's not what they're designed for. That's what we are designed for as a community college, to support our community, whether it's through helping people that are wanting to start up a small business, helping them get there to that point with really basic step-by-step process on how to start a business, how to put in a bid, how to register with the state to be a minority business owner. If we could use some of these grant dollars for those, and we're only offering one, every quarter. Those need to be offered like every single weekend, where we have these available for people to sign up, virtual and in person, of course, maintaining our social distancing guidelines. But we have to do better to help the community, whether it's traditional, non-traditional, including small businesses, get to that place so that everyone is thriving. But it's good we're spending it on some PPE equipment, but there seems like we're getting quite a bit of funding, and I would like to see us really doing more grassroots work within the community and the small business owners to help them along the way as well, because as a community college, once again, that's our responsibility.
And I agree, all business owners would benefit from this course.
And also with like the marijuana business, now that it's legal, showing people how to do it, and being there for people, just different times, different venues, online, virtual, in person, talk to churches. We have to do the work. The people that are working here at the college that are getting paid, we are paying people for their creativity, for their skills, to get out there and really do outreach, grassroots work within the community, so that everyone can have the skills to be able to get involved with these other projects that are now available. So thank you so much, Dr. Farmer.
Yep. Alicia, you had another issue too that you wanted to speak to?
The national search for the president. I'm still a proponent that we should be transparent and start a national search for the college president. I'm sorry to see Dr. Mitchell, put in a resignation, but I respect her decision. I think she's done an excellent job. And as a board, before you know it, she resigned not that long ago, and before you know it, the end of the year will be here. So we need to start the process as quickly as possible. And I'd like to know if you have any update, Chairman, on that?
Hold on a second, I gotta see. Carl, is this something we could add to the executive session tonight?
You can discuss it under C1.
C1?
It has a policy for it, so it'd probably be appropriate discussion for the board.
How about if we
to
do that
discuss
in our executive
concept.
session? We'll talk about who we want to take it out to and.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
because I
fine.
know with this CARES money, maybe we can use that to pay for the
We'll add it,
search.
we'll add it tonight to
Thank
our
you.
executive session.
Okay, appreciate it.
Okay, Nancy?
Yes, I wanted to bring two items up, language accessibility as well as board accessibility to the students. So the first one, I think I have already talked about for a while now. So I am really thankful that we have our ASL interpreter here. That is really awesome. As well as the closed caption for the live meeting that we have available for the board meetings, but we still need to continue. And I have been talking about this for a while, but last time we didn't bring it up for a vote to have a live interpreter for Spanish and any other major language based on the data that you guys have on other major languages. So that way we can actually vote on this for the May meeting to actually put it in place and implementation.
Dr. Mitchell, do we have cost estimates for this?
Well, currently we do have so this meeting is running simultaneously.
For the closed caption?
With the closed caption, and there's a drop down for multiple languages. Some of the challenges, just like English, the translation is not 100% accurate. However, after the meeting, it goes through a YouTube vetting, and then they correct the language, and then it's posted to the website within 2 to 3 days, correct, Jim? Yeah, okay. So we do have that right now. We do have our sign language interpreter at the college. We've moved forward with that. And then we have moved forward with converting our agenda from English to Spanish, and that's posted on the website as well. So that's what we have currently in place. There, we've had discussions in the past, and that's what we've moved forward. If the board would like to would like to entertain additional services or go outside of the processes that we've put in place, that would be a directive that I'd like to see from the entire board, because the items that we've taken care of now, it was in January, we look back in the minutes, and it wasn't a full board, yes, move forward, but we did take the proactive approach to get these in place. So I would just like to know, just like
And
Trustee.
we could discuss it more at the April 28th workshop.
We could talk about what we have in place and what our potential options are.
Okay.
I will say with Trustee Garcia, it was in 2019, and I think I shared this with you at the commencement ceremony. They did hire a Spanish interpreter live, and it didn't go well because it was difficult for them to keep up. And so the translation did not work as well. And even with our meetings now, the virtual meetings, my understanding from media is sometimes it's difficult to understand if people aren't talking close to the microphones, if you're virtual. So there are some of those barriers that are in place as well.
Where did this happen? Who hired someone, Dr. Mitchell?
Who hired?
Yeah, who didn't it work out well for?
You know what? I don't have the specifics, Jim. I don't know if you have the specifics on that. That was told, that was shared with me by Jeff Fisher. So I don't have, in 2019.
I understand that maybe it didn't work well for someone, but I think as America's First Community College, and considering the growth of our student demographics and our community demographics, we could use some HSI funding to cover that expense. Since we are now legitimately recently a Hispanic serving institution, I would fully support, because when we don't engage people in their language, it's very difficult. And yeah, you have this, posted, it creates work for people to find it in that language, whereas if they just tune in automatically, they're hearing it automatically, and that's a huge difference. So I fully support that we move forward and that we do get, just like we have our ASL here, that we have somebody doing it in Spanish. When you engage people, they become part of it and share their ideas, maybe even donate more money to the college. I don't know. But I think considering, that this is a huge demographic, I would support Trustee Garcia's initiative.
Have we had any requests for this through population at all? Or is it just
Well,
trustee
I-
Morales and trustee?
I don't
Ian that
think
are
it's
doing it?
only us. We're a Hispanic serving
Institution, why do we need to have people request it?
Well, the thing is, if you're looking at something, I mean, we don't have just Hispanics here, we have brown.
Absolutely, but
You know, we have all
Spanish is the
different
second
types of.
formal language in this country.
Can I finish?
Sure.
Please. We have all different types of denominations here. And in all my 6 years being here, I've never had that request brought to any of my attention. And I do have Hispanic friends, and I've never had it. I mean, with the YouTube situation that is set up and the way it does go graphically to identify whatever language you need in it, is there a problem with that? Because I look at cost, and I think we're all cost sensitive, especially when our enrollment is down. Is this something that the board can afford to do? Because that's what was brought up before, when Dr. Mitchell had brought it up before with the cost factor.
And I think when we're talking about being able to provide it in a different language, it's not only Spanish. So I'm not saying Spanish is the only language. We definitely have populations that speak different languages, and we definitely have data. We should have data on different languages, major languages that we can go ahead and focus on. So that's something that we can definitely do. I know that there's going to be obstacles, definitely, but we have an awesome team, IT team that can figure it out, or we can provide the support needed to make it happen. Even though this is the first time that it has come up, we have been around for more than 100 years, so we're really late in the process.
Well, as I shared with you, none of the colleges that are in the ICCTA have that. So this would be something that they've told me that they don't have. And I mean, they do have a variety of different nationalities and different races in their, you know, in their environments. So I guess the question is, do we need it? And what's the cost?
How about if we look at this either at our April 28th workshop or the May 4th board meeting, have a report on it, whatever they can do the quickest. And then
Chairman,
we can do costs and see what everybody else is doing.
right. I know Mr. Surhit would like to make one comment, and yes, we can add this to the April workshop, so.
Thank you, Dr. Mitchell and Board of Trustees. Just a few points of clarification. First of all, the challenge that we had in 2019 was with the graduation ceremony. It was not any previous efforts around what we're doing now with the board meeting. So I just wanted to clarify that point. Number two, we are offering a live meeting with our ASL interpreter of the monthly board meetings. That board meeting, the board meeting is automatically closed captioned in up to 6 or 7 different languages currently. Tonight we have 11 community members, folks from the public that are tuned into the live meeting. That's right now we have 11 community members outside of myself and Jeff, which makes 13. So the cost per meeting to do the live transcription is $400 per meeting. That is the cost that we have currently. So I just wanted to clarify a few points. We of course can do more follow-up due diligence, bring additional information back at the board's request.
Thank you, Mr. Sir. I see that
Can
one of
you
the
also
reasons.
gauge to see how many are actually watching it in the different languages? When you look at how you see, when we can see by marketing purposes, when we see ads run, can you also do that to see what the count is for looking at it through all of the different languages or through that?
We can't see that currently.
You can't? Can YouTube see it at all? Because I know there's YouTube hits.
Well, we can follow up and see what additional information we can get. We're using Microsoft Teams event for the live event portion of the meeting. Right now, we know how many viewers. We don't know what language they might be viewing the meeting.
Okay.
Trustee Morales.
Yes, I was going to say something. So just because you have 11 people right now, I know that in other communities, non-English speaking communities, because they know it's not there, that's why they don't even bother to log in, because why bother? And they already have the attitude of, well, it's not there, so why? I think once, if it's offered, people are going to know it's available and they will log in and listen. It's going to be something brand new. And when you start something new, of course, it's going to take time to get there. But I think as a community college, $400 per meeting compared to the grants that we're getting is definitely something we cannot afford not to have it. If you're going to really be a community college and reach out, and we have a serious commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, this is 100% equity and inclusion when you're including people. And if we can offer it in multiple language, absolutely, I think we should do that. And we are America's first community college. We are pioneers. We can start something like this new. It's all, and imagine if we go national with this, just because ICCTA they don't do this, well, let's start it. Let's track the data. Thank you.
Also, I wanted to add, we have a difference between transcript and interpretation. So what I'm requesting that we look into to have actual numbers, because in the last few months, we have had this conversation again and again, but actually moving it to a vote. So that way we can actually make it happen. Because we can talk about it all we want, but if we don't actually put it on the agenda to bring it up for a vote, it's not going to happen. So again, difference between transcript and interpretation. Just a reminder.
Maybe, Dr. Mitchell, you can put it, I'd like to see what the college community has to say with the faculty and its staff and administrators. If you could put maybe a quick survey, like a survey monkey out there, and see what people think. What our own staff, how they feel, our personnel, what do they think about this?
We can pull this together and then we'll have a presentation at the April 28th workshop. I think we can turn it around in a couple weeks. If there's any slight delay, we'll bring it back in May, but we'll attempt to hit the April 28th workshop.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ready.
The second one that I wanted to bring was accessibility of board members to the general student body. So our student trustee is crucial in making sure that we have a relationship with the students and hearing from them about their concerns, things that are going well in the college, things that can be improved. So that's definitely awesome. And thank you for everything that you have done. And welcome to our new student trustee, Mr. Lozado. But as a board, we can do a lot better. In terms of, at one point, I think we had our contact information on our website, like telephone number or email address. I think if specific board members have any issues with having their information out on our website, we can go ahead and make modifications, but we should be able to be accessible to students who have concerns or community members that need to reach out for any particular issue. As well as, I know, President Mitchell, that you have done or are going to be doing coffee with the president, I think this month, if I'm correct. I think as board members, we should be out in a virtual setting, but hearing from students, being able to connect with them and hear from them directly. Still having our awesome student trustee, but still being able to be out in the community in virtual events, of course, right now, but hear from them directly. So I would like to see us be more involved in actually taking necessary steps to have events, virtual
Nancy,
events.
did I miss this item? Was this on the agenda? Which item was this that we're talking about?
Can you repeat that, please?
I said, which item was this that we're talking about? I don't remember seeing this in the agenda.
This was under new business.
New business.
Oh, it's new business. Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, I would like my information available for people. When they finally reach me and say, we didn't know your phone number, we didn't know how to get a hold of you. I don't know why transparency is an issue. As a board member, I would love my email and my phone number put out there. So if people want to come and approach me for something, I know I have to come to you, with it, but I would prefer that my information is made available to everybody, because we are public servants. We took an oath to serve our public in local government, and we should be accessible.
Well, that should be easy enough to put on the JJC website. When they
Thank
look
you.
up
Can you put
trustee,
mine, Jim? Thank you.
and if whatever trustee wants their name
Yep,
and address and
that's
phone number
right.
on there,
Yep.
you put it on there. It's gonna be easy, right, Jim? Yeah.
Thank you.
The most common practice, though, is with all the community colleges, it goes through the secretary, which, Joan, you have it set up for us to receive emails for all of us? Is that my understanding?
It's on the website if, pardon me, anyone who wants to tap into, pardon me, trustees they can go through. I believe it's.
But you're the one who has
J-
access to it, correct?
That's correct. JJC trustees.
Yeah, it's on the website under, when you search the trustees, it'll say like trustees@jjc.edu and it'll send it directly to.
Right, so
I'm
it would go to
assuming
Joan,
fine.
but she as the secretary would see it,
Yeah.
correct?
That's fine.
That's how most of the boards have it.
Yeah, but then just put our phone number.
Okay, that's it?
That's all.
All right,
For right
thank
now.
you.
Can I respond to the other though? Please?
Go ahead.
Thank you. You only have to put up with me for one more meeting, so I'll find you. I just wanted to comment on the attending the events. And this is just something that I looked up and I just, asked the board to consider this. So what we have done, I know Dr. Gray has been involved, our student trustees are actively involved in Dr. Farmer's team, and we send out numerous surveys to our students. And so if there's specific information that you would like to see, I encourage you to email me, let me know that, and we can include that in our surveys and report back, just like Dr. Gray has done that, Trustee Wilkinson has done that, and Dr. Farmer has done that. So we continue to do that. What I remind you, and with our HLC, with that, Higher Learning Commission, is they discourage direct communications. And again, this is discretionary up to you, that they remind you that the Board of Trustees is a policy-making board and aligning with the HLC guidelines for our accreditation visit. So if you look at the specific language in there, it says the board will govern at a strategic policy level. The board will delegate to the administration the day-to-day operational management of the college while preserving their prerogative to discuss, provide direction, and act on matters of strategic importance as deemed appropriate. Trustees have authority for the official board action only when acting as a group at an official board meeting. Individual trustees shall refrain from speaking or acting on behalf of the board unless authorized to do so by the board or through these policies. Individual trustees shall endeavor to support decisions made by the board and recognize those decisions. So I say this with all due respect to all of our trustees. We have worked with this in the past, and you've worked through our board chairman, and we continue to do that. My team, I'm so proud of the continued work that they do. Our student trustees are phenomenal, and we encourage and we want to invite our board members to attend our events. That's absolute, that we like you to be here and participate in those events and activities. But when it comes to the specific operational requests or, being involved in hosting those meetings, I just ask you to take that into consideration, because obviously our HLC accreditation is extremely important to the institution. So I just wanted to share that with you this evening. So thank you.
We appreciate that, and we would not do anything to jeopardize our HLC accreditation guidelines, but just more to, be involved and just let the student and all personnel know, we're here, but we also want to learn more. And I wish we could have more board meetings, but we can't. So maybe we can participate and come and visit you when you're doing your coffee with the president and just, be there in the moment. That's it. We know that we're not speaking on behalf of the board. We get that. But just having a presence and, showing ourselves to the college that we are here. This is what we wanted to do, and this is what, why we're here.
Okay, absolutely. And we'll continue
Thank you.
with my team to look
Got
at
it.
that, and we'll make sure that we have that as a priority.
Okay, is there any other new or old business before the board? Don't hear anything. Moving on. Under first new business, first reading, board policies, old business, second reading, board policies, third reading, that's all of the consent agenda. Moving on to the reports of the JJC Foundation, Ms. Mulvey.
Hi, can you hear me? Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very well.
I'm on a new device, so. Good evening, trustees. The employee giving campaign is underway. We kicked off the campaign this past Monday, and the theme this year is Keep Our Students Afloat. It's a pool and beach theme. So far, we've raised over $71,000 from our employees just in the first 3 days. The annual campaign ends Friday, April 30th. Tomorrow night, I'd like to remind you, is our annual Night of Stars event at 6 p.m. If you haven't registered, please let me know, and we will make sure that you get the link so that you can watch it virtually at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. Hank Brockett and Scott Harvey, both employees under Kelly Roeder Tonelli, did an absolute fabulous job putting this show together. I can't tell you how excited we are. Of course, we would rather be in person for an event, but I think you're going to be very impressed at the level of expertise this event is and how great our team was that putting it all together. In honor of Bob Wunderlich's 44 years of dedication as a trustee, the JJC Foundation has set aside $30,000 to endow a scholarship in his name. The foundation is extremely grateful for all of his years of service to the college and its continued support of the foundation. So from now on, there will be a Robert W. Wunderlich endowed scholarship at the college. So 100 years from now, Bob, they're still going to be talking about you.
I'll probably still be here.
Christy, I really think it should be $43,000 instead of $30,000.
44,000, yeah, probably.
Yes. So.
The deadline for fall scholarships is approaching. That deadline is May 1st. We continually send out text messages and emails reminding students that May 1st is the deadline and encouraging them to apply. April 1st was the deadline, which has passed for our Foundation High School Merit Awards. The foundation awards $3,200 to each student that is chosen by each of our 26 feeder high schools to attend in the fall. We received applications from every school. We have alternative students picked as second and third choice if the first ones decide not to attend Joliet Junior College. And we are notifying all these students this week that they have received this award and are ready to go for applying for classes for fall of 2021. And I'm proud to say we've got 3 valedictorians interested in coming to Joliet Junior College in the fall from our local high schools. So that's wonderful. My team will be at our drive-through graduation, which is being planned under Dr. Farmer's area on May 21st. And we're going to give away an alumni gift to all of our new alumni, and we look forward to connecting with all of them in the future. The Awards for Innovation and Excellence Committee is currently reviewing this year's grant applications. A reminder that the foundation budgets $50,000 a year for these mini grants. We're giving away one $25,000 award and the rest in up to $5,000 awards to our faculty and different departments for things that might not be covered in the regular college budget. And then the next foundation board meeting will be an executive board meeting next Wednesday at 7:30 in the morning. That's the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christy.
ICCTA, Maureen.
Thank you. A little bit long tonight, guys. The Illinois Community College Trustees Association met on March 12th and 13th for our quarterly meeting held virtually via Zoom and in person at the Hyatt Regency in Schaumburg. We were given an update on the Illinois General Assembly's spring 2021 session. 2 bills of special interest to the community college were House Bill 2867, which sets aside 15% of the Illinois MAP program grant funds for community college students. Senate Bill 1832, which allows community colleges to confer Bachelor of Applied Science degrees in early childhood education and professional educator license with endorsements in early childhood and education and early childhood special education under certain conditions. The ICCTA is collaborating with the Illinois Council of Community College Presidents to advocate for a larger fund increase than the 2% included in the Illinois Board of Higher Education fiscal year 2022 request. We were informed that the Federal American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, which includes $39.6 billion for higher education with 50% allocated for students in the form of emergency grants. The Illinois Workforce Invocation Board's Workforce Consolidation Feasibility Study is underway. The study will have and possibly have more things towards the adult education in Illinois. April is Community College Month. We all need to celebrate that, and I think it's throughout the whole community college buildings that I've seen that we've done that. The ICT has requested an official proclamation from the governor's office and will feature Illinois-related Community College Month stories on social media. And we were also updated on the progress of the Illinois Board of Higher Education strategic planning initiatives, key components which will include core principles for funding, definitions of adequacy and equity, and evaluation of future capital needs. We had a presentation at our luncheon by the College of DuPage for Frida Kahlo, which is a timeless presentation of arts that was for the Mechanic Center for Arts. Wonderful presentation that they did. A very great art exhibition. We received the initial draft of the ICCTA's proposed 2022 strategic plan, which lays out 4 goals: information exchange, training, advocacy, and administrative efficiencies. We approved the creation of the ICCTA President's Award, which may be awarded at the ICCTA President's discretion to recognize an unsung hero who has supported community colleges and the Trustee Association. So it's a new award that we've developed. The ICCTA's 2020 award roadshow traveled to 15 colleges and involved more than 100 trustees around the whole state. We too need to get on that, so they come here too, because they're looking to come to JJC. They encouraged our ICCTA regions to replicate the North Suburban and West Suburban regions with having joint meetings and Zoom meetings. So if we need to do that with all of ours for our central region, we can do that. The deadline we now have for the 2021 and 2022 ICCTA office for officers is April 19th. Interviews will be held virtually on Friday, April 23rd, with the announcement of the recommended slate of officers at the May 4th Board of Representatives meeting. Election will take place at the June 5th annual meeting. We had a trustee education at our quarterly meeting. It was called The Urgency to Treat Cybersecurity as a Business Decision. It's kind of appropriate after what you experienced Thursday and Friday with what happened. And I'll give you a little bit of breakdown. And Jim, keep your ears listening, because I know you're going to want to listen to all this stuff anyway. They want to know, is your college prepared for cyber attack? Likely we are not. Type of attack or breach? Do we know what it is? How was it detected? What's the length of the exposure? Tips they gave us, because we had Heartland Community College that gave us this, that gave us what happened to them. Except that you can say you are prepared, but you aren't. You need to be proactive, not crisis handling it when it happens. Provide communication and stick to only the facts. Keep need to know in a circle very tight and expect criticism, because nobody expects to have the breach. Threat actors will monitor it all. So there will be threat actors involved whenever this happens. They're going to be there just clinging to it to find out what's happening. Immediate actions, limit exposure, take system down strategically, mobilize internal and external support, have a very tight circle of who's dealing with it. Communicate it to campus community, contact your insurance company, consult with your insurance carrier, begin building a breach response team, have that prepared in place. Contact authorities, file the report with the police, notify the FBI, notify the Department of Education, notify your financial institutions that you're involved with, because any type of breach can go and extend beyond the college campus. Contact peer community colleges for advice or guidance. Those that have gone through it or have an idea of it, contact the president and the CIO. What are the tips they've given us? Understand the insurance policy coverage in advance so that you are prepared. Do we have insurance coverage for this?
Yeah.
Okay. Know how to communicate to your college community. Emails will not work, so consider another option, because emails will be a part of the trigger of being in the breach. Stay calm. I like that one. Stay calm. Insurance. You want to look into the breach response. Heartland had a $2 million limit. Look into the legal, the forensics, the public relation, compliance, negotiating team, notification to individuals who were compromised, credit monitoring for any individual whose social security numbers may have been compromised, if social security numbers were. Aggregate waterfall is part of the other portion of the insurance, which is, they had a $2 million limit. Tips: ensure adequate coverage now. Begin deliberating decision regarding negotiations with threat actors who are constantly there. Ransoms, and must consult with your carrier before final decision. And I'm sure, Alicia, being in the insurance business, your ears are perking when you hear all this insurance
Yes,
stuff.
all of it.
Recognize there is a likely list of vendors that must be pre-approved by the carrier for costs to be covered. What was the impact on Heartland's college when this happened to them? 200 plus servers were impacted. The ability to run classes regained after 1 week. Their email and Office 365 availability was available after 1 week, but they had to have new IDs established to reestablish their ability to get on. It delayed spring training by 2 weeks, so it has definite effects on when you are breached like this. The ERP was down for 2 weeks. Payroll, big concern. Okay. Then what are the tips? Realize rebuilding takes considerable time and not can all be restored immediately. So have your plans ready. You need to prioritize which systems need to be brought up first. It's critical to the business community of the college. So you need to know which systems need to come up and which makes us, able to be functional again. Watch your staff, because your staff is going to be working a lot of hours. Make sure they get some sleep and eat. And then the things that they have given us as actions to fortify and be proactive, it's called debrief incident to identify vulnerabilities. Purchase email filter system, a Mimecast, Jim, is what they suggested. Server upgrades to reduce vulnerability. Multi-factor authentication, so an MFA. Increase monitoring of systems and portals. Invest more in the ERP security. Staff tables to train staff on how to respond and what to expect and create more robust cyber security plans. Random forensic reviews of the system. So even if we haven't been hit, they still recommend that you do have audits done on your system. Autumn systems for mitigations, and educate everyone on what could happen if you are breached at all. And it was a great 2.5-hour presentation. It was done virtually and with the school there that gave us the information on it. So we had a great cyber security, presentation, which I thought was great. Going forward at the seminar, they're looking for beta testers and content providers for the ICC Trustees chat, searchable online database. You can find that on the website in June. We also had the Trustees Roundtable. We discussed how colleges are coping with remote campus environments and plan for returning to in-person learning. That was a hot topic of when everybody is going to be returning. What's the outcome? We all know that we are federally and state governed, so everybody knew that we still have protocols that we have to follow in order to go back to that, but everybody is looking to see when we can get back in the classroom. Second of all, we talked about how boards are handling public comments at meetings. This was a huge topic as far as we should not be bringing up anything that's not related to what's on the agenda. All of the committee people there were very specific about it. We should not be bringing up personnel or anything that's demeaning. We need to be specific about what's on the agenda. So concise with the agendas was the topic was. Then the next thing was how colleges are allocating stimulus relief funds, including best methods for determining emergency needs of students and staff. And the ICCTA's outboarding committee is moving forward on producing member-only podcasts to enhance trustee learning. 2 podcasts on trustee responsibilities and the Illinois Open Meetings Act have already been recorded with Black Hawk College, and they will be available for us to see then. And then, Bob, I hate to tell you this, but Richard Anderson from the College of Lake County, he's the one that has 47 years. He's getting the Lifetime Tenure Award for being the longest standing board member I told him you were just shy a couple years, but they said he was there 47 years. He started in 1974. And then the next upcoming meeting is May 4th, if I'm not mistaken. May 4th, it will be a Zoom meeting. It will be where anybody can get on if they want. Please let Ruth or Joan know so that she can provide that with you. May 31st is the adjournment of the Illinois General Assembly. June 3rd through 5th is the ICCTA Annual Convention in Bloomington, in Normal, I should say. And I think all should be there because we have someone in our college that might be getting an award. I mean, there's award names that were put in there, so we'd like to see somebody may be getting it. I'm not acknowledging who it is, but JJC does have a couple of awards. And then June 4th is our Illinois Community College Board meeting, still in Bloomington. And as I said, the next meeting would be May 4th. So if anyone's interested, please let Joan know. And that concludes my report. Any questions?
Joan, can you send me that information, please? Thank you. On the May 4th meeting?
May 4th, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, next student trustee, Ian.
Good evening, everyone. I'll wait for
Good
Jim to
evening.
pull the presentation, but as it is my final presentation here, but it's just going to be like all the others. You can just go to the next slide, please. Just kind of like the student life updates. As you guys know, last board meeting we approved that April is Earth Month. So the OSA staff has been helping put on numerous events that are going to go on throughout April, along with putting on some scholarship opportunities for students to participate in the activities and then try and qualify to get a scholarship from $200 to $250 in scholarship money. That then, as you can see on the right, there is a documentary that I plan on watching. It's going to be about the life of our planet. If you can go to the next slide, please. And then also there has been, numerous, as you guys know, my big push this year or this term has been with mental health, mental awareness, and there's been numerous amounts of wellness series, wellness events that have been going on that have been a big push throughout this year for students to get involved with and kind of get to know not only their mental state, but to get the help that they need throughout it, because that is a huge concern for me, for my fellow peers, and just for everybody in general, that they need to know like where they lay at on this line, because it'll creep up on you, and it creeps up on the people that you don't expect it to, because it happened to me, it happened to some of my friends. You don't expect it, and then once it's there, it's kind of hard to treat it if you can't get it beforehand. And then also there's a game night for that the PTK members are putting on, and this is just a small look at all the events that are going on within the student life. Clubs are starting to try and push for more events that are going on. Just last week, our Student Ag Association partnered with the Culinary Club to do a bacon mac and cheese night where the Culinary Club put together about 100 kits that students would sign up, and then they would come collect them in the ag department so that students didn't have to go buy the stuff on their own. It was all provided through the help of the CCC, the Collegiate Club Council, approved funding for us, and then the Ag Association also got a grant from the Illinois Farm Bureau to be able to provide 100 kits for all the students that signed up, that just provide them with the bacon, the milk, the noodles, the cheese, the flour. They just had to provide themselves with the pot, the water, and of course the stove to make it on. And they hopped on a Zoom call or a Teams call to watch the culinary department actually prepare it for them so they could go along with it. If you can go to the next slide, please. And then if you guys remember from last month, I I sent out another student checkup form just to kind of see what students are feeling at this point in the semester, and to also see what if they've noticed any type of changes within the college from the fall term. Next slide, please. So the first slide was kind of just a general, how is your semester going? I wanted to just make this checkup a lot smaller so that students didn't kind of skip over it because of the length of it. So there's only about 5 questions, I believe. And the first question was just a general, how is your semester going? And as you can see, like kind of just scrolling through there, you can see the first one, I'm doing well academically, but mentally and financially exhausted. So a lot of the positives throughout the whole form is academically, students are doing a lot better. Me and my fellow peers are adapting to this online format. We're being able to navigate our way through iCampus, the portal, and everything with that. And our professors are reaching out to us a lot more often, showing their faces within the lecture videos. But then it's the mental and the financial strain that is exhausting everybody. And that's why I'm glad that our mental health and our student wellness center has been pretty much upgraded and has been continually updating and upgrading throughout this whole crazy pandemic. And then that third one, so far, I've been really stressed and just tired, but I've been able to keep my grades up. I'm struggling financially due to unforeseen family circumstances. And with that being said, with that one being read, again, just mentally, people are struggling, and financially too. But with the unforeseen family circumstances, that's where again I asked in the fall just to have kind of forgiveness on the students, be easy on them, because I don't know exactly what's going on in their personal life. Of course, the staff and the faculty and the professors don't know exactly what's going on in the student's life. If they're falling behind, maybe it's out of their control. Maybe some type of family circumstance has come up that they can't control. So I kind of just asked in this odd time to just have some leeway, not to completely forget rules and everything, but just be easy and understand, like, no one really wanted this position in the first place. Just so, and when students and when myself can see that our professors are understanding of us, we can then understand you guys, or understand them when maybe they fall behind in something. Next slide, please. And this is just like a continued one that I put on there because it was just an overwhelming amount of feedback on this particular question. And on that last one, it says, good, it's been hard with the pandemic, but I'm pushing through. Students and myself are just pushing through this pandemic. The staff, the faculty, the professors are also pushing through. We're adapting to this online format. We're being able to overcome it, and we're coming out stronger. We're sticking through it together, and that's the best part. Next slide, please. And then this question was just, have you noticed any changes since last semester? So the big one up there is the one that I loved the most. Yes, Student Wellness is doing a great job reaching out. Their students are being able to notice these changes. There's some students that were like, no, because this is my first semester, which is actually really good that that they say that, because it's their first semester, that they even this trying time has sparked them to come to this college. There was also some students that said, no, I haven't really noticed anything, but I'll start looking. As long as they start looking into what we are trying to do, what I am trying to do with boosting all the marketing and everything, that's just a pleasure to my ear. And then the second one, I've seen more activity and advertising from OSA. That has been a pleasant change. I like their programs. There's been a boost in marketing, and students are recognizing it, whether that's through Teams, whether that's through Facebook, Instagram, types of just any social media platform. Students are beginning to see it. And then that fourth one down, student wellness has improved from when I was in school in 2008. So we have someone within this college that was here back in 2008, and they have noticed the changes. That's a good sign that we have improved. I mean, of course, I know that this college has changed since I was here when I started a year ago, but definitely to see that someone from 2008, several years ago, has noticed those changes is definitely great, because that shows that we're moving in the right direction, that we're moving in a promising direction for the future of this college. Next slide, please. And then kind of just my final updates, my final comments. I first off want to just thank the board for allowing me to be here, allowing me to sit in front of you guys and speak on the behalf of the students. And also thank the students for electing me, putting me in this position to where I can represent them in this role. I also want to congratulate David. I know that he will be able to come into this position and he will hit the ground running, because I trust in him. I know him. I've sat down and I've talked with him, talked through things, and I just hope that he will come to me if he ever needs anything, because I know that he has some great ideas, great initiatives that he wants to start off. And speaking of initiatives, just because this is my last board meeting, I don't want you guys to think that this is going to be the last that you guys will see or hear from me. Behind the scenes, I'm going to be working with Dr. Farmer, Dr. Sims, Dean Vasquez Barrios, Dr. Gray, to potentially get the ball rolling for new initiatives to hopefully better this college and be able to look forward into the future. And next slide, please. So that pretty much concludes my presentation for the night, but I also want you guys to look at this quote that I put in there by Malcolm Bain. I read this in a book that I was reading, and it says, if you wait until you can do everything for everybody instead of something for somebody, you'll end up not doing anything for anybody. And that, when I read that quote, when I read that in my book, it just sat with me and it rang with me, because it's so true that people want to do something and they think that they want it, but they don't want to go small with it. They want to go big, which in the grand scheme of things, yes, that looks good. It looks good when you accomplish something big, but everything has to start somewhere. Everything has to start small, maybe even medium size and large. It starts everywhere. And if you don't start somewhere, you're never going to start. If you never go into somewhere that maybe makes you uncomfortable, you're never going to get something done for someone that might need it.
Absolutely.
And that concludes my entire presentation for the evening.
Great job.
Thank you, Ian. Next item, Buildings and Grounds Committee report.
May I say I'm sad to see you go, Ian. David, you have big shoes. If you make me feel uncomfortable about reporting my report, you're doing a great job. Because Ian's way detailed. So the first thing we did tonight at the Buildings and Grounds, the first bid we approved tonight was exterior tuck pointing and painting. We budgeted this at $70,000. We received 4 bids after advertising it. The low bid was $56,000. The second thing we approved tonight was the parking lot improvements, budgeted at $365,000. Advertised to 932 vendors. 6 vendors submitted. 6 vendors showed up at the pre-bid meeting. 10 bids were received. The low bid was $204,000, and this is to a local contractor, PT Farrell. The final bid we approved tonight was the theater floor and carpeting. It was budgeted at $150,000. 6 vendors attended the pre-bid meeting. 4 bids were received, and the final bid was at $96,000. Upcoming bids for next month, as we heard, was a natural gas supply line. The J elevators will be approved coming up, and the natural areas restoration. The workforce project, CISO, is very precise. We're 88% complete on that and everything, so which is good. Nice to hear we're moving in the right path on that one as well. And that's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Next item, President's Report, Dr. Mitchell.
Okay, good evening. First, I have to say I used a new brand of Downy scent on my mask, and holy schmoly, it's really strong. So just beware going forward. So I'd like to begin with celebrating our enrollment. We are up nearly 13% over last summer in credit hours. Our summer head count is up 191 students over last summer. Our Hispanic population is up 10%, 65 students over last summer. And our returning population for at least one full semester is up 13% or 81 students. So congratulations to and thank you to everyone, our faculty, staff, our student development team, our marketing, our outreach. It's really paying off. So keep up the good work. Summer semester starts May 24th. Again, I'd like to congratulate and recognize our nursing students who earned a 96% first-time pass rate for the 2020 National Council Licensure Examination, exceeding state and national averages. The students in the practical nursing program who took the NCLEX PN exam earned a perfect 100% pass rate. So again, that speaks to the dedication and the commitment of our faculty and the staff in the nursing department. Other areas I'd like to highlight: career services in partnership with the Illinois Community College Career Services Professionals Commission hosted its first statewide virtual career fair, Your Future Now, on Friday, April 9th. Employment opportunities were represented by local and regional employers offering part-time and full-time and internship positions in business, government, healthcare, manufacturing, nonprofits, science, social services, and so much more. We're proud to share that 759 unique student and employer connections were facilitated. Next, we'll be hosting our virtual Discover JJC open house. Come and see what the college is all about during our open house. Take a closer look at the many things that JJC offers and find out how easy it is to start your associate's degree. Representatives from campus departments will provide you with information on our academic programs, how to apply at JJC, work through the financial aid process, and learn about the many scholarships available at JJC. The date is scheduled for April 24th, 9 a.m. to noon through Microsoft Teams. Under the leadership of our HR team, an ad hoc rewards and recognition committee was created and comprised of faculty and staff. Beginning next week, April 26th, we will launch our celebration week, JJC Rocks. I look forward to celebrating with all of our employees this entire week for our virtual environment. We all deserve a little celebration. It's been one heck of a year. HR and the DEI departments created a new venue to engage employees in dialogue and collaboration, Table Talks. The first Table Talk discussion is in collaboration effort to gather employee feedback on their needs for a successful transition back to campus. Trustee Garcia, Trustee Morales, you'll be pleased to know that I had directed my team, and we've been talking about at the cabinet level, reviewing our job postings to include bilingual preferred or bilingual inclusion as an essential function of the job targeted for recruiting areas. The college collectively submitted 7 awards to the ICCTA for their statewide awards and scholarship recognition program. Good luck to all those submitted. Remember, JJC rocks. The Spring Connection magazine is now available digitally with print copies expected to be in mailboxes the week of April 26th. This issue is the fiscal year 20 annual report for both the college and foundation. A redesigned fall registration guide hits mailboxes throughout the district this week with a specific focus on parents and the financial support JJC provides for all of our students. So the theme this year is Let's Scrap the Gap year. So looking forward to supporting our students and our parents. A few highlights with our strategic plan. Goal number 2 specifically, provide exceptional, accessible, and equitable services to JJC diverse student population as they explore and pursue their personal, academic, and career goals through the college's guided academic pathways. The Disability Services and the iCampus team collaborated in the development and the launch of disability services for faculty and staff. This unique site provides information, insight, and training in 16 different modules. Each module provides FAQs and additional information to support educating the campus community on how to best support students that utilize disability services accommodations. The Disability Services team works diligently to educate and empower students, faculty, and staff during the COVID-19 pandemic and help to create a need to enhance training opportunities. The student advising team updated the student orientation experience to include resources for new students to navigate through guided academic pathways, options and tools for undecided students, a customized experience based on students' native language, and if they're first-generation college student, veteran, athlete, or transfer student. And the admissions team also developed a parent website to educate parents about the enrollment and financial aid process. I have more updates in my report, but I highly encourage you to read my president's report that was sent to you electronically. It's a multi-page document really expanding on all of the great work that continues at Joliet Junior College. I'd like to congratulate our newly elected trustees, Jim Budzinski and Michelle Lee. We'll look forward to working with you. And I'd like to wish a very happy birthday to Trustee Betty Washington. And I know we'll see you one more meeting, but you will be missed. That concludes my report, but I have one item that I forgot to bring up under the college business, and I just need to talk to the board. So the seating of the new trustees and the recognition, I looked back on April of 2019 when we went through that, and we had the approval of the election results. We appointed our student trustee, convening of the new board. I'm requesting or seeking the board's preference as to what that meeting looks like. It will be a special board meeting. It's my understanding that the votes will be canvassed and finalized by April 27th, Tuesday. We could potentially host a special board meeting on the 28th prior to the workshop, if that's your preference. Or I believe we have to have that final meeting on or before May 5th. So the agenda will be to, recognize those trustees stepping down and then swear in and seat the new trustees. And we also, during that meeting, had the board reorganization at that time as well. So if you would like, I can just have Joan poll the board. Obviously, that would have to be rather soon so we can notify and post that. So I will have her send out a couple options and look for the majority. Okay, and that concludes my report. Thank you.
I have a question about your report.
Yes.
Please. You mentioned the enrollment increase, and for the Latino community, I think you said it's 10% up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do we know what their numbers are for our African-American community students?
I don't have all the specifics. These were just some of the highlights, but read in the report and then I'll work with Dr. Farmer. We can expand on that and we'll send that out to you as well.
Okay. I'm curious if it's the same or if we're still seeing a decline, and if we are, what are we doing to help our African-American students to stay in school and finish? And then the percentages you mentioned, is that only of brand new students first time, or is that all students?
Dr. Farmer, are you still with us this evening?
I just saw her.
I know,
She might
maybe
have just
she
checked
stepped
out.
out. Let me, Kelly Roeder Tonelli has her hand up. So Kelly?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think Dr. Farmer is having some technical issues. I've seen that happen a couple of times throughout the meeting this evening, but I do know we have that number, Dr. Mitchell, for our African-American student population, and we can get that to you right away.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, next item, Chairman's report. Well, I'm not going to say a whole lot because Maureen said a whole lot. I just want to say thank you to everybody. This is probably my last regular monthly meeting. I'm going to miss everybody, and I don't say much, so that's all I'm going to say.
I'm sure excited about the foundation giving you that grant, though, that award, that scholarship.
Well,
I think they did a great job in honoring you.
yeah, that's, I don't deserve it, but anyway.
You're too modest.
We have a few things in store for his last meeting.
At this time, can I have a motion to go into executive session for 2C1 and 2C2?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Joan, call the roll, please.
Roderick?
Aye.
Garcia Guillen? Yes. Mahalik?
Yes.
Morales?
Yes.
O'Connell?
Yes.
Washington? Yes. Wilkinson?
Yes.
And Wonderlich.
Yes, and when we come back, there'll be no business